Morning. Can you hear me? Yeah, lovely. Good morning, Sophia. Thank you very much for inviting me to come and speak to you today. It's a pleasure to be here. My talk today is on the e-buyer's mind, which sounds a little bit sort of science fiction-y. If I'd called it, why I like to go shopping on the internet, you probably wouldn't have turned up in such numbers. But what I want to do today is to talk to you about e-commerce, online retail, e-buyers, e-shoppers, etc., and try and put some context on the behaviours that we exhibit when we go online to do shopping, where it fits in our sort of everyday lives and online lives, and also look at what we're buying, why we're buying it, what the motivations are for buying those certain goods, and also where advertising fits into that. How does it contribute to the overall online shopping experience, where advertisers could do more, where they could do less, how to think about it differently. So the first question I have for you, and I should probably take control of the phaser that I have here. Hang on. Wonderful, there we are. That's the title. Hands up who likes shopping. Mainly women, okay, it's good. I like shopping too. Shopping is part of our fiscal, our cultural heritage. We make films about shopping. We talk about shopping. We love to buy things. It's part of human nature to exchange goods for gifts, for money, etc., etc. I like this quote by a lady called Bo Derek, if some of you are old enough to remember a film with her in called 10, many years ago. I think that sums up quite nicely how important shopping is to us. So, one of the big misconceptions I think about online behaviour is it's somehow different to the behaviour we exhibit every day in the high street or our homes. And the fact is it's not. When we go online, we don't suddenly become robots or start speaking in binary or something like that. We behave very much as we've always done for thousands of years. The way that behaviour manifests itself is slightly different because of the tools we can use to do that. But generally speaking, what we do is exactly the same. And those behaviours are thus. We like to communicate. We like to look for information. We like to entertain ourselves. We like to indulge in commerce. And we like to go and walk about and have a bit of discovery. It's just like real life. There's nothing different or unusual about it. And online retail fits into that very nicely. It takes up around 10% of our time online. Depending which country you go to, it varies slightly. But it's important because if you think about how much time you spend maybe not on the internet doing shopping, it's probably less than 10%. Well, I'd hope so anyway. And unsurprisingly, ad spend doesn't always reflect this. As ever, advertisers tend to follow consumers. They get there a bit later than the consumer's already doing. These are figures taken from the UK. So around 40% of all ad spend online goes to the portals, the place you get your email, look at a bit of news perhaps, usually passing through to do something else. 45% goes to the ad network, so big swathes of sites joined together, easy to buy, often some very clever tracking stuff in there as well. Other publishers take around 15% of revenue, so that's newspapers, magazine sites, that sort of thing. And e-commerce takes probably less than 1% of all ad revenues. Now, it's not really a complaint, it's just an observation. The reason it tends to happen like this is a number of factors. One, online advertising is driven hugely by reach. So I need to get all my advertising on a place I can reach lots of people easily being the imperative point there. And also the idea of advertising within a retail environment for a lot of media agencies is not something they are traditionally familiar with doing. That tends to be the area of expertise for sales promotion agencies in the offline world. So online media agencies haven't generally tended to look at that as an area of opportunity. So, we wanted to investigate a few things. We wanted to look at online shopping habits. What are people buying? How much are they buying? Where are they buying it? What were their attitudes and motivations to buying those particular types of goods? What was it that they were doing, or how were they choosing to buy? What were the criteria upon which they made their choices? We also wanted to look at the consumer response to advertising. As I touched on earlier, there's not much advertising on e-commerce sites, and actually there's a very big opportunity there because people's response to advertising in a commercial environment is surprisingly positive. And obviously look at the opportunity for advertisers and brands in general from that information. So we did some research. Before I just go into the research, I just wanted to just touch very briefly, and I promise this isn't really me selling, but I'm sure many of you are familiar with eBay, and you're familiar with eBay's heritage as an auction site. And it's important to note that eBay is no longer really just an auction site. Over half of the retailers on eBay are either small businesses or high street retailers, looking to find other ways of distributing their brand, looking to find new channels to market, in the same way that a brand will go into a department store and set up a concession because the footfall is there for them to take advantage of. And that's the way the business is moving. So it's not just about auctions anymore. And so
Webit e-Business i Internet Marketing Expo.